Well, today is the day. If you haven't filed your taxes, you'll want to get to it because the clock is ticking to either file or file for an extension. This morning we have Stephen Mullaby with us with Counter Column Accounting, right?
Correct.
Thanks for being with us this morning. We have some rapid fire viewer questions for you this morning because
Great.
you're one of the experts and I know taxes are very complicated. So one of the first questions that we got in is about being over the age of 75. So do you still need to file a tax return if you're over 75?
So the most popular answer every accountant's going to give is it depends. So it's usually based on your income. It doesn't have to necessarily do with your age. So if you're over age 65 and you're single and your gross income was over $14,700, you should file a tax return. If you're married and you're both over 65, $28,700 is the adjusted gross income limit. You should definitely file a tax return.
Ooh, okay, a lot of information. Let's swipe over to the next question. Someone wrote in and said, where are my taxes from last year? Still have not gotten mine. So how do you answer this?
So a lot of times what will happen is someone will file and there might be a hiccup in the processing of their return. So I usually recommend going to the IRS website. They can actually check the status of the refund, or they can actually check and see whether or not there was something that's holding it up. Sometimes there was a form that was missing in their tax return itself. So as long as they go in and verify that A, the return was filed, and B, there was nothing that was holding it up, they can actually get the return a little bit quicker that way as well.
Okay, makes sense. All right, let's take a look at our last question for this one. Tax day snuck up on me. I think a lot of people feel that every year, and I realized I didn't get my W-2 from my job or employer. What should I do?
So the first thing you would want to do is, if you want to make sure your taxes are accurate, I would file an extension, and then you can always request from that employer to get the W-2, or you can go to the IRS website and request a tax transcript and actually get what your W-2 was reported from that employer. In the worst case scenario, if you have your last pay stub, usually your year-to-date stuff is going to be on there. You can at least get pretty close to what your tax reporting should be for that tax year.
Okay, pro tip, Stephen Mullaby, thank you. And Stephen will be with us all hour. So if you have a question for Stephen, you can text us at 509-448-2000, and he will take your questions coming up in our next half hour. In the meantime, if you do have any tax-related questions, we know this is a lot, you can actually text the keyword tax to the number 509-448-2000, that same phone number, and we will send you a resource guide right to your phone.